What up, Impact? Hey, y'all. Welcome. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks so much for everybody who came to the Halloween fun party, costume contest. Let's pie everybody. Let's make mummies of everybody. Let's just get crazy and dance. That's what last night was. It is Thursday morning. I don't know when you're watching this, but we had so much fun last night. We didn't have time for the message, so here we are now. And we're so glad you're tuning in. Please check this message out. Share it with a friend. Share it with family, whatever it is, y'all. Because right now, today, we are talking about fear. Yeah, and listen, wherever you are, as you're watching in middle school, in high school, or in college, or even as an adult and as a leader, we all have something in our life that we're afraid of. We all have different types of fears. We do. And it's a very common question, but like, what are some things that you're afraid of? And here you go, as you answer this, I know if we were here right now in the theater, I can't stand talking in an empty theater, by the way, so I wish you guys would shout out whatever you're afraid of right now where you are, because we love doing that on Wednesdays, right? But hey, what are some things that you are afraid of? Now, the top 3 phobias and fears, maybe one of them are for you. Number 3, check this out right here. It is the fear of heights. You know, listen, I've seen some of y'all go to like Pilot Mountain. You love hiking and going on, roller coasters and all these rides and stuff, and that's awesome. That's good. But for a lot of people, they're terrified of heights. They can't stand heights. Like, some people are so afraid of heights. Get this, it's funny. Like, literally, they won't even stand on a stool. Like, they'll get like wheezy and nervous and I'm good. Like, I can't do that. Like, their stomach will start to get a little bit uncomfortable and uneasy. And like, I go to the bathroom. Like, I'm good. I don't like heights. I get nervous. My palms start sweating. Yeah, heights are a good thing. And I would never sit at all like this, so do not go and do it. None of these pictures are ever worth it that y'all try and post for this stuff, so please, please, please. Number 3 fear for a lot of people is the fear of heights. Maybe that's you. Number 2 fear, what do y'all think it is? Yeah, I know, maybe you're like, well, number 2 fear is definitely me. Snakes. Dude, I can't stand snakes. Some people are so afraid of snakes. Like, they are like, I am never gonna go camping. I'm never gonna sleep in a sleeping bag. I ain't doing Boy Scouts. I ain't doing Girl Scouts. I ain't going to the mountains. In North Carolina, snakes are pretty much everywhere. The other day I was mowing the yard. It was Tuesday. And like, our grass was a little bit high, okay? Like, cause the grass always grows in North Carolina. It was like mid-shin, which, it was pretty high. So I'm like mowing it, tiptoeing. Like, if I see something, I throw the mower that way. Cause, dude, I don't do snakes. I don't like snakes. I'm terrified of them. Yeah, and some of you guys might be there right there with me, because snakes are no fun for anybody. And this is just a terrifying snake anyway. I mean, imagine if it was actually that big. Like, that would be awful. Snakes are a big fear. And the number 1 phobia for people, okay, the number 1 phobia, the number 1 thing that people are just, crazy, they're scared of, it's kind of like the Ron Weasley Syndrome. That's kind of what I like to call it if you're a Harry Potter fan. It's this right here. Oof, spiders. 8 legs, creepy and crawly. Like in North Carolina, really, spiders are definitely everywhere. You can't avoid spiders. I'll be honest. Like, they're in the garage, they're in the bathroom. They might be in your bed in the middle of the night. Sometimes Whitney's like, oh my goodness, a spider. And like, she'll throw an elbow towards me. I'm like, hold on, was that a spider? Or is that because I said something about your taco bake tonight and it not being that good? No, I'm just kidding, babe. Your taco bake is always delicious, okay? But like, yeah, spiders are terrifying. Our little girls, who I'll talk about a little bit later, Iris is so afraid of spiders and bugs, all of a sudden we'll just hear like a, eh. I'm like, what is it? She's like, but spider. Like, terrified of spiders. If you don't like spiders, I know they're not fun either. They really aren't. Lobsters are actually a type of spider as well, if you're a seafood lover. I'm just saying, okay? Maybe some of you guys eat spiders, you never know. But those phobias they're kind of fun to talk about, right? Fear of heights, fear of snakes, fear of spiders, unless you are terrified of these things. But for some of us, like, our fears aren't really that. Our fears are a little bit more real. And I don't mean fear like, dude, I'm afraid of like pooping in a public bathroom. Like, yeah, that's a fear for a lot of people. Or like, I'm afraid of, like, man, what am I gonna do if I have to fart on a first date? Like, I know that kind of stuff is a fear. I understand that. But for some of us, we have some real fears. Like, some of us, like, hey, I'm afraid nobody's ever gonna notice me. I'm afraid I'm never really gonna be enough. I'm never gonna be enough for my parents. I'm never gonna be enough for my friends. I have to put on a front every time I'm around them, so I'm always acting, not real, because I don't want them to think that I'm not cool. I'll never be enough for the person that I'm dating or I want to date. You know, some of you guys might be afraid that you'll never ever find a date. That she would never say yes, or he would never say yes. Some of y'all are afraid, you know, that you will never ever be cool enough. You'll never be smart enough. Some of y'all are afraid that you'll never get into school that you really want to get into. Some of y'all are just afraid of school and like failing. Some of y'all are afraid of taking tests. Yeah, that's real. Like I can never, I still get nervous if I take a test. Like I don't know, my overall test score in my life is probably like, you know, not high. Okay, I was good in classes, and I was always nice to teachers, which is why you have to do that. But some of y'all have fears that are just so much more than just snakes and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Some of y'all are afraid that your life, right, like right now, exactly where you are in 8th grade, as a junior at East, you know, as a sophomore in NCLA, as a college student, and you're still trying to figure out state or app or wherever you are right now. Some of y'all are afraid that, you know what, you really feel like your life might not matter all that much. Yeah, you might be like, yeah, you know what? I don't know anymore. Am I ever gonna do anything that actually really matters to other people? Does all this stuff matter? Is what I'm doing right now, does it matter? Does my family, do they love me? My parents love me? You know, like, is this gonna matter down the road? Am I making an impact on other people around me? Do my friends really like me? Y'all, those are real fears. And if you're sitting here right now and you're watching this and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I get that. Hey, first I wanna tell you do matter. First I wanna tell you that you're not alone with how you feel, with anxiety and with depression and stress and struggles and the burdens of school. Again, we talk about school, but I was talking to my man Colin last night here as we were playing some of the Halloween games. We were talking about the stresses, you know, of math and of geometry and shapes and all this stuff. And it's crazy, it's tough, it's hard, but I understand some of those things of like, man, is it ever gonna ease up and give me a break? I get that stuff. But if you're stuck in the middle of that right now and you just don't know what to do, hey, know that you do matter. Know that you are loved. We love you. God loves you. And what you're doing right now, it is important. What you're doing down the road, it is gonna matter, I promise you. But you might be like, okay, well, hold on. But still, I feel the same way. I still struggle with the same fear. I still struggle with these things, and Chris, I really don't know what in the world to do. I wish my fear, you know, because I'm so afraid of the way I see myself every day when I look in the mirror. I'm so afraid that like nobody will ever really even care about me that much. I'm so afraid that, you know, my post on social media, I'll never ever have as many comments as other people. I'll never have as many likes. I wish somebody would do streaks with me because nobody really wants to talk to me or even give me time of day, like all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm so afraid because when I walk in a room, nobody really cares. You know, like they don't really talk to me all that much. I have friends, but I can't really be myself around them, so I don't even know if they're really my friends. Yeah, that type of fear where you're like, man, can I ever just be myself and be loved exactly as I am and who I am? Yeah, that type of fear. I wish I didn't have this fear. I'd rather be afraid of snakes. I'd rather be afraid of spiders. I'd rather be afraid of heights. Because y'all, fear like that is real and it's hard. So what are we supposed to do? Again, we want to tell you that you matter, that you're loved, that you're not alone with feeling that way. Listen, Impact, I promise you, I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you are right now watching this. I promise you that you're loved. I promise you that you matter. And I also promise you that you are not the only person that feels that way. With anxiety, stress, depression, I promise you're not the only one. There's probably other people in your group that feel just like you. I bet your leader's been exactly where you are. I can tell you for a fact that myself, my wife Whitney, we've been there. We're still walking through some of these things. So don't deal with that fear by yourself. Please don't, because you don't have to. And as followers of Jesus, this is the coolest thing. As followers of Jesus, we're not supposed to deal with it by ourselves. So the question for us really tonight, you know, and as we're kind of in spooky season, you know, it's here, right? Halloween's right coming up here on this Sunday. It's going to be crazy. You know, but what are we really supposed to do with these fears that we have? How do we handle them? Well, I want to encourage us, all of us, to try our best to face our fears. We're going to try and face them this year. For spooky season, for Halloween, we're going to try and face them, okay? Listen, I am not telling you to go climb a mountain. I ain't telling you to go wrangle some snakes. Next time y'all come to Impact on November the 3rd, gonna talk to Zach. We're gonna have some vipers in here. We're gonna do some, no, I'm just joking. We ain't doing that, okay? And we definitely ain't have no spiders because I know everybody's gonna go crazy. Especially if it's a wolf spider with the babies on the back, or if you step on it, they scatter. I know, I'm sorry, squirrel moment, but we're not doing that. But we're gonna try our best to face our fears. We want to challenge y'all to do the same thing. Now, how do I do that? What does that look like? Well, right now, exactly where we are, we're going to jump into real quick a story from the Bible that's an awesome story. You've probably heard of it before, right? A really cool story about a teenage guy by the name of David, and this huge giant by the name of Goliath. Okay, this is in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17. Wherever you're watching, you can pull out your Bible if you got a Bible. If you don't have one, next time you come to Impact, we got you. We got some for you that are perfect for you. Or you can go to the Bible app and check it out. But this dude by the name of David, fellas, he's like y'all's age. He's like a teenage dude. He is the youngest of 8 brothers. Check that out for a second. 8 brothers. He's the youngest, which means he probably ain't never got no food. He probably, never have hot water. Like whenever he's showering, the bathroom always smelled terrible because if I was done, if they had showers or bathrooms or anything back then. But you know what I'm saying. He got the worst hand-me-downs. His holes in his socks had holes in their holes, right? Like it would be the worst. His underwear, all that stuff, I don't need to keep going, right? You guys get it. He's the youngest, and his name, tiny little David. And he was, at the time, he was an Israelite, and Israelites living at this time, they had a group of people known as God's chosen people. They followed God, they loved God, they lived for God, but they had this rival by the name of the Philistines. And Philistines were literally was like cats and dogs. Like they were the exact opposite. They didn't like the Israelites. They didn't like God. They were against them, so they're constantly clashing and attacking and going against each other over and over again. It'd be like Carolina being the good guys, right? Of course, come on. Maybe God's chosen people. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, Duke fans. And the Duke will be the Philistines and the bad guys, okay? I'm just saying, it's like the Red Sox and the Yankees, the Lakers and the Celtics. I don't know, you want to keep going I don't know if you're East or Glenn, but it'd be like East over here and Glenn here or Glenn here and East here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Philistines and the Israelites did not like each other at all, okay? And back here for battle, what they would typically do when they had beef and they had a problem, they'd fight. And they didn't just I'll meet you in a parking lot, but they kind of did something similar, okay? So what they would actually do is the champion of the Philistines, their best fighter, their best warrior would come out and challenge the champion of the Israelites. And instead of having everybody line up and fight and kill each other when there's no army or soldiers left, they actually would say, this champion versus this champion, you fight to the death, whoever wins, this army wins, and they would have to go join them. You guys kind of follow me? So it'd be mano a mano. I challenge you to do whop whop, slap each other. Whoever wins, boom, that army wins, and they're done, and the armies combine. So the Philistines have this giant, and for real, Harry Potter, Hagrid, he's probably bigger than him. 1 Samuel says he's 9.75 feet tall. I'm pretty tall. He's got about 3 feet on me, higher. That's a big dude. Literally, his armor that he wore, the chest armor that he wore was 125 pounds. Some of y'all don't even weigh that much. That's a lot of armor. The shield that he had, he had a dude that carried his shield for him called a shield bearer. That's how big it was. He had to carry his own shield. The shield was probably so big for him. This dude was a giant. His name was Goliath. He was massive, y'all. He was huge. Goliath, big dude, big giant. Everybody was terrified of him, literally. And what he would actually do every single day, mano a mano, he'd walk out as the champion, 9.75 feet tall, huge, all this armor, and he would bark and challenge all of the Israelites every morning and every night, twice a day, for 40 days, saying, yo, who wants some? Hey, whoever wants it, come on, let's go. You can meet me right now in the parking lot. That's cool. I'm down, and we can handle this. Anybody want to fight? Anybody ready? Anybody? Now you're good? All right, that's cool. And as he did this, he would actually challenge them and defy them and say, you guys suck, sorry, you smell bad, yeah, your mama, all this stuff, and really come at them, and Then he'd also come at their God, our God, and say, your God, sorry, he's not all that, man. He's a little bit sus, bro. I'm sorry, always flexing, but he ain't really doing anything for you. So we'll see. I'm coming back tonight. I'll challenge y'all again, whoever wants some. And nobody ever stepped to him, ever. They wanted nothing to do with him until here comes little David. And little David, the youngest of how many? Yeah, 8 brothers. And David was actually kind of like the Grubhub of the day, okay, or like the DoorDash. He was the delivery boy. His dad was like, hey, listen, your older brothers are fighting in the war right now. They're getting challenged by this Goliath guy. I don't know if they're going to fight him, the Philistines, but they need some food. So literally, his dad sent bread and cheese, a nice little charcuterie board or something like that, and was like, hey, go send this to the soldiers, go send this to your brothers and to the general, and let them know, hey, that we love them and we're praying for them. So David, as Grubhub, has got the bag and everything going up, and he's like, here you go. Delivered it to his brothers, and his brother's like, what are you doing here, man? Come on, David, what's up here? And as he does this, guess what? David sees Goliath come out and bark. And Goliath's like, yo, it's me again. Hey, yeah, what's up? Just trying to see if anybody's trying to, am I got any problems or whatever? We can squash this right now. What's up? Anybody want to fight? No? And David's like, yo, what is this dude's deal? Why is nobody responding to him? Are you guys all afraid? And 1 Samuel says that people were terribly shaken. Probably peeing in their pants, so afraid, bro. Not dealing with any of their fear. And guess what David does? Little David, okay, who was a shepherd, which meant he took care of the sheep. David says, hey, look, man, I fought lions. I fought tigers. I fought bears. I don't know. Probably fought some possums and raccoons or whatever else they got over there, in the wildlife, North Carolina. I'm not afraid of this giant. I know God's got me. You guys are all running from him and afraid from him, but I got this. I'm okay. We can do that. Mind you, this dude Goliath terrified everybody as a giant. Everybody was horrified of him. David's just a teenage guy, just like y'all. I'll face this. Because guess what? I know God's with me. Be all right. We can make this work. So David raises his hand. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll go into battle. I got it. He goes and tells the king. He tells King Saul. And King Saul, who's the king of the Israelites, is like, hold on. You're just a boy. You want to go fight Goliath? You're a teenage dude. What do you get? This dude's been fighting his whole life. What chance do you have? David's like, listen, I got it. I'm good. I trust God. I know I can handle this. Okay, I fought lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. I can handle this. I got it. Well, Saul says, you're crazy, but okay, the rest of my entire army's terrified. Grown men are terrified, but all right, that's fine. Here, put my armor on. It's funny. David tries to put on the king's armor, and he puts it on, and he falls over, and he's like, oh shoot, actually, I can't even wear this armor. It's so heavy. I'm just still probably going through puberty a little bit, and my muscles yet, I'm good. I don't need any armor. You keep your armor to yourself, bro. I'm just gonna go and handle this real quick. What? So you got a teenage dude, right? Come on, fellas. Think about yourself in 7th, 8th grade, whatever it is. 7th, 8th grade is yo, I can handle this. Okay, cool. Step into a grown man, okay, probably looking like Haggard or maybe even Thanos, right? Marvel fans, a big dude. And he's like, yo, I can handle this. I got this. And this is crazy. This is wild. Everybody else was so afraid of Goliath. And David says, yeah, I'm going to step up and I'm going to take care of him. And this is where we're going to jump into the story here. 1 Samuel chapter 17. If you've never heard about David and Goliath, and the cool story, y'all got to check it out because this is awesome. Tune in here. Watch what happens here when David walks up to Goliath. This is so cool. Goliath walked out towards David with his shield bearer ahead. Remember, the dude carrying his shield for him, probably his hype man too, oh, it's Goliath. Watch out, y'all. Yo, it's over. He sneers in contempt, psh, for real? This is what you bring me? Okay, hold on. At this ruddy-faced boy, probably means yo, he's got some pimples, has a piece of facial hair right here. Some of y'all got the mustaches going. I feel you, especially in high school. This is before that probably for this dude, And he's like, all right, am I a dog? He roars at David, that you come at me with a stick? This is how you're gonna fight me? David has his slingshot, like literally a slingshot. That's all he has. And he's like, this is what you send to fight me for real? He cursed David by the names of his gods, lowercase g. Keep that in mind here. Come over here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals. In other words, I'm going to destroy you and leave your body right here. Pretty rough, pretty gruesome. But and then just the wildlife will come and, just enjoy on your delicious toenails, wherever else you have left. That'd be disgusting, right? Like some roadkill. David, you're about to be roadkill. Laughing, Goliath says this. Well, this is how David replies. This is awesome. 1 Samuel 17. Again, this is 40 through 51. There's a lot there, so you should really tune into it. David replies this to the Philistine giant. You come to me with a sword, a spear, which weighed like 15 pounds, which is, big spear, and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. You mocked us over and over and over again. You keep saying our God's not enough. You keep saying our God can't do it. You keep saying our God isn't for us. You keep saying our God's not going to make this happen. Watch what's about to happen. Watch this. Today, the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you, and I'll cut off your head. Woo! Happy Halloween, right? And then I will give the dead bodies of your men to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. That same God who's our God today, right? The same God that we pray to. Awesome. And everyone assembled here will know that the Lord rescues his people, but not with sword and spear. No. This is the Lord's battle, and he will give you to us. In other words, it's on. Let's go. Let's do this. Can you imagine the armies on both sides oh, this poor boy. Oh, bless this boy. I cannot believe it. His brothers are probably eating popcorn this could be awesome. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, right? Older brothers don't treat their younger brothers that way. They're probably crying man, I should never been so mean to him. He was just so annoying. He was just a younger brother. Man, I cannot believe he's about to, he kind of had this coming. I know, but we can't say that. They think that he has no chance. But David's God's got this. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be awesome. And watch what happens here. Let's go to the next one here if we can. As Goliath moved closer to attack, check this out. David quickly ran out to meet him. In other words, Goliath, Thanos, Hagrid, walking, shield bearer, boom, boom, boom. And little David is let's go. Okay, here we go. I don't know why I just did a weird Pac-Man kind of thing here. It's kind of weird. David quickly ran out to meet him, reaching into his shepherd's bag, taking out a stone. He got his slingshot. He hurled it with the sling. He hit this Philistine in the forehead. The stone sank in, and Goliath stumbled and fell face down on the ground like a sack of potatoes. Ball game over. Just like that. He fell right on his head, and that was it. Imagine the reaction right then and there. Imagine how quiet it was. Everybody was I'm terrified of this Goliath, 9.7 foot tall dude. He has a shield bearer in front of him. Well, the shield bearer didn't really help him out there, right? And this teenage dude, a middle schooler, right? Maybe a high schooler, a young dude comes up, is we got this. Just imagine. And this was really cool about this story, y'all, the David and Goliath story. What's awesome is this. Check this right here, all right? When everybody else ran from their fear, David's I'm going to face it. Let's go. I know we're all afraid of big bad Goliath. I know we're all terrified of Goliath. And he comes out and challenges us night and day 40 times, right? In the morning, 40 times a night, 80 times. And we don't do anything except for look there I ain't going to deal with that fear. I'm not going to deal with that fear. No, I'm going to let it go. I'll deal with it tomorrow. No, I'm not going to deal with it tomorrow. One day I'll face it. No, I'm probably not going to face it, right? David says, I'm running to meet it. I'm coming right to this fear. You know why David does this? When everybody else ran from their fear and said, I'm not touching the fear, David's put my track shoes on, Usain Bolt, let's go. Here we go. I'm sprinting right into it. David knew one thing. This was it. Hey, our God's bigger. Our God's bigger. I know Goliath's 9.75 tall. I know his chest plate, right, is 112 pounds. I know his spear is 15 pounds. I know he's got a shield bearer. I know everybody's terrified of him. I know he's never lost in battle. I know he's undefeated. I understand it. But God's bigger. I know nobody's giving me a chance. I know grown men are terrified of this dude. I know nobody wants to ever give this dude an opportunity to slam him into the ground. But you know what? I'm pretty sure my guy's bigger. And with the fears we have right now in our life, you might be like, yeah, well, man, that was thousands of years ago in the Old Testament. Yeah, but what does that have to do with me? Hey, the God that was with David in this is the same God that's with you right now in your fear. He's the same God that's with you right now as you're dealing with stuff in your relationship and you're so afraid of that breakup, or you're so afraid of your parents and the family issues. You're so afraid because your parents, they're fighting all the time and you're afraid of a divorce, or you're afraid of your family member or your friend passing away, right? You're afraid of what to do or to trust anybody ever again. Or you're afraid because you're like, you know what, man, like I don't even know if I can keep dealing with this stuff at home, and there's one of my parents an alcoholic and I'm struggling, and they're struggling with addictions and substances, and I don't know how in the world I'm supposed to handle this and what I'm supposed to do, and I don't know how to keep living and keep going. You know what David knew? David knew that our God's bigger. And you know what you can know right now? Even though it might not take away the pain right away, you still might have your fear. That is 9.75 tall like Goliath. Yeah. But you can still know that your God, my God, David's God, he's still bigger than that fear. Right now, he wants to be bigger than the fear in your life. Are you going to let him? You might say, well, Chris, you don't even understand the fear I'm going through right now. The stuff that I'm stuck in right now, man, you've never dealt with it. You might be right. And maybe you're in a place that is so alone, and you feel like you're in the bottom of a pit and nobody else notices you or will ever understand or be where you've been. If that's the case, I am so sorry. But I promise you, if you give him a chance, I promise you, it might not go away right away, but I promise you, David's God, my God, your God, our God, can still be bigger than that fear. But we gotta face it, and we gotta give him that opportunity together. I'm challenging y'all right now. Come on for spooky season, y'all. Let's go. Let's challenge and take this right here and know that our God is bigger, right? He can make giants fall. Things in your life that you thought would never, ever be fixed or made right, he can. But we gotta trust him. All right, y'all, so maybe you're like, okay, how do I face my fear right now? The fear I'm struggling with right now, what do I deal with? Okay, God's bigger. Where do I go with this? What does that look like? Y'all, we got 4 things right now for you. Then you can talk to your group or hang out or just think about this until we meet again and we hang out. But 4 things. First thing for us is right here. You got to own your fear. Acknowledge your fear. Don't hide from it. Don't act like that thing that triggers you and bothers you again and again and again doesn't really bother you, and you're not worried about it, and you're not anxious about it, and you're not stressed out by it. Own it. Acknowledge it. Talk to somebody else about it, okay? A friend, a small group leader, one of us, reach out, okay? Own it. You gotta face that fear first by owning it. Secondly, the second thing for us, so important to do, you gotta prepare for it, y'all. You gotta say, all right, if I'm triggered by this, if I struggle with this, if my thoughts spiral with this, if I don't know what to do with this, if I feel anxious about this, prepare for it. Again, I'm not saying go pick up a snake or jump off a mountain. That's crazy. That's not how we're going to handle our fears, but we're going to try our best to prepare for that fear, with that relationship, with the family issue, with the thing with school, with the thing with work. Do your best to try and handle your part of it. Try and prepare for your fear. It's so important. The third thing we want to encourage y'all with when it comes to facing our fears, praying through our fear. Not just before it and not just after it, but through it. In the middle of it, David's praying as he's going to Goliath. Hey, man, I really hope I hit this dude in the forehead or it's going to be a problem, right? Like, pray right through it. God, I don't get this. I'm upset. I'm anxious. I'm stressed. I'm nervous. I'm a little bit depressed. I don't feel good. I don't want to get out of my bed. I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to be around anybody. I don't want to get on social media, because I get on social media, it just spirals again and again and again, and people say this and that. I know you can't escape it, y'all, and I hate that for all of our middle schoolers and high schoolers. It's tough, but pray right through it, right in the middle of it. God, I need some help with this because I don't know what to do. And this doesn't seem fair, and I'm struggling here. Please help me. I'm struggling with the things with my family. It doesn't make sense. Why this have to happen? You can be mad at God. Pray right through it. And lastly, the fourth thing it's so important for us to do, you got to trust. You got to trust God right in the middle of your fear, right? Right in the middle of your fear, okay? Don't trust him after it and say, oh, I knew he'd come through. Trust in the middle, just like David running to face his fear against Goliath, right? Running into it when everybody else said, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm not, you got this. Go ahead. Trust him right in the middle of it when nothing else seems to make sense. You're upset at God. Again, that's okay. It doesn't seem fair, I know, and I'm so sorry, and it breaks our hearts if you're dealing with something that's so real and a struggle. I promise you're not alone, but we're really, really sorry, and I know it hurts, okay? But you've got to trust God right in the middle of that fear. So again, the four things for us to face our fears this Halloween, this spooky season, y'all, trying our best to own our fear, trying our best to prepare for our fear, right? Trying our best to praying through our fear, not just before it, not just after it, but right through it. And then lastly, trying our best to trust in the middle of our fears. Y'all, listen, we can do this together. We can know that our God is bigger than our fear together, okay? But do not do it by yourself. And listen, if you're not trying some of these steps, or at least one of them, or maybe two of them, right, then I don't really know how much it's going to be effective for you, okay? Yeah, God is bigger, and it's good to know that and to say that, but these are some ways to really try and practice that right now, this week, tonight, tomorrow, in that relationship, in that issue, that problem, whenever it pops up. Because the problem is, fear will always be a part of your life in middle school and high school and college. As an adult, it's always there, but it's on us to face it and to try and do that together. Knowing God is bigger. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for these awesome middle schoolers and high schoolers, God, and college students and leaders. And Lord, we all have fear. We all have struggles. We all have different anxieties and stresses and things that cause us sometimes to feel depressed and stuck and not knowing what to do. I pray for our students right now who are stuck right there in the middle of it. And I pray, Lord, that they will try their best to face those fears and to try their best to know, hey, God, that you are with them, that they can talk with you right in the middle of them, that they can pray to you just in a conversation like we are right now. God, that you're with us, that you're bigger than our fears. I pray for our students right now who are stuck and they don't have anybody to talk to, they don't know what to do, that they'll reach out to you, they'll reach out to us, that we can walk with them right now in the middle of whatever it is they're facing. God, you're with us. You're bigger than our fears, right? Just like you were so much bigger than Goliath. David knew it, and we know it. And help us, please, Lord, right now with whatever it is we're stuck in right here today, to know that we don't have to face these things by ourselves, God, and that you are ultimately, even if it feels so alone and it feels so scary and it's so intimidating and we don't even know where to start, just please help us just to know, God, that still you can be bigger than them. It doesn't mean the problem's gone overnight, but you can be bigger. And I pray, Lord, right now that we do the best we possibly can to try and start walking in that today. We love you so much. Thank you for Jesus, and it's in his name we pray. Amen. Impact, we love y'all. We hope y'all have an awesome time this week, a safe Halloween. We can't wait to see y'all back on November the 3rd. Remember, y'all, come, have fun, bring your friends, right? We love y'all. We're here if you need anything at all. We're praying for y'all, and we are here. We love you guys. Peace.